Hi, I'm Steve Murphy, and welcome to the Insider Exclusive. Today, we are featuring one of America's best-known tax lawyers, Roni Deutch, and some of the amazing results that she's achieved for her clients. Stay tuned.
Owing the IRS is probably one of the worst things that could happen to someone, because the IRS has such broad collection power. And just imagine if you woke up one morning and your bank account was levied. Roni Deutch, she is a tax attorney. She has dedicated basically her career to helping the American taxpayer understand their rights and how to resolve IRS-backed tax issues that come their way. We work with taxpayers across the country.
As long as you're making an honest, forthright step to try to resolve the tax liability, the IRS is going to stop that enforced collection activity.
I am very pleased today to have with me two of the top attorneys at Roni Deutch, the tax attorney that everybody sees on TV. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Yes.
And Justin.
Yes, thank you.
And your full name is?
Attorney Mike Johnson.
Okay.
Justin Hine.
And you're the managing partner at her firm, isn't it?
I'm one of the managing partners, yes.
Yeah, in case a lot of people don't know about Roni Deutch, you see her on TV. She's probably the most widely advertised tax attorney in the country.
Right.
And she gets amazing results.
She does.
Tell us what the firm does.
Okay, well, Roni Deutch, she is a tax attorney, and she holds one of the highest degrees that an attorney can get. She has actually a master's in taxation, which is called an LLM. And with that, she has dedicated basically her career to helping the American taxpayer understand their rights and how to resolve IRS-backed tax issues that come their way.
For the most part, people come to your firm because they have a problem with the IRS, right?
Right.
Most of them are delinquent in their taxes,
right.
Correct? Or the IRS has contacted them and said something about your last tax return, we want to challenge it, right?
Right.
Do you have a lot of people that come to your firm after, almost at a too late of a stage of the game?
No, I mean, I don't think it's ever too late to address your tax problem. I mean, the worst thing you can do is to just stick your head in the sand and ignore the problem.
A lot of people do that, don't
Yeah, they do that. So the best thing you can do is actually reach out if you're in need of help, and that's what we do. So our law firm, I think, is known as a unique law firm in that we advertise nationally across the country, and people are maybe watching late night TV or daytime television, and they see a spot, and it's almost like this answer to their prayers to some extent. And
it's almost like they're staying up late at night worrying about the U.S. government.
Right.
And there comes Roni Lynn Deutch, right?
There she is.
I want to make it real clear about your particular program, is that when Roni steps in and helps an individual, takes on a client, all of a sudden, all of the claims that the government has against that person are put on hold. Isn't that right?
Well, yes, it is.
So, I mean, that's a very important point. If you're sitting out there right now and you're watching this show and you have pressing problems with the IRS and you say, oh, what good would it do for me to call a lawyer? Well, guess what? If you call Roni, right, bottom line is everything comes to a screeching halt while she starts dealing with the IRS, right?
Yeah, we're going to step in and take the weight off the taxpayer's shoulders.
What are most of the problems that people, tell me a typical problem that someone has.
I think a typical problem is that people get behind in filing their tax returns.
They just don't file them.
Yeah, maybe they go to their tax preparer or they prepare their return themselves and they see that they have a balance owing and they think, oh geez, I can't pay this, so I better not file it. And then that starts the process or starts the problem of that snowball effect.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, they end up owing $10, $20, maybe even $100,000.
So let's make that real clear. If you can't pay your taxes, it's better to file your taxes than not file them at all.
Definitely,
right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because there's another issue that a lot of people are unaware of. You actually can discharge taxes, right, in a bankruptcy if you filed them, correct?
Right.
If you haven't filed them, you can't discharge them.
Right.
Correct?
Correct.
Correct. And, you know, bankruptcy is one option. We try to take the other alternative to bankruptcy
Right.
in resolving back taxes. If you file for bankruptcy, it's a nasty ordeal that you have to go through, and then you have that bankruptcy that sits on your record for a very long time. So the solutions, the means that we go after don't end up on your credit and don't haunt you for the rest of your life as you're trying to get your life restored and back in order.
I'm looking at this, some of your clients' results, and I started the show by saying amazing results, and I'm looking at the first client here. Their liability was $67,000. They ended up paying $4,500. 67 to 45. That's pretty substantial, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I understand that usually when you go to the IRS, there's levels. The first level, they are trained to tell you no. Just reject any offer and compromise, and we'll get to what that is in a minute. But do you end up appealing a lot of your cases?
Occasionally. Usually what we try to do is we try to concentrate on getting that offer and compromise accepted the first time through.
Now that you brought that up, define for our audience what an offer and compromise is.
An offer and compromise is basically, it's a means of resolving your back taxes by paying less than what you owe. Just kind of stepping back a little bit, like you said, the IRS, their job is to collect taxes. I mean, they're basically the largest collection agency in the United States, and they have a lot of authority and a lot of power to go out and collect the taxes. They start off as being Mr. Nice Guy, and they send you a letter or give you a phone call, but then it quickly gets ugly. Then the notices start to become more stronger and the language, and then they accelerate and become wage garnishments, bank levies, tax liens. So
by having Roni represent the client, all that stops, right?
Well, yeah, that's our first objective, is to stop any collection activity that the taxpayer may be facing so that they can focus on the problem at hand and how to resolve it.
So I've also heard that an offer and compromise, when you go to the government, you just say, look, my client doesn't have the money, right? That oftentimes they drag their feet in getting back to you, hoping that the circumstances of your client will improve so they can pay more money. Is that true?
Definitely. The offer is a time-consuming process, and by dragging their feet, what they're saying they're doing is they're analyzing the taxpayer's financial situation. Dragging their feet is actually putting more of the burden on the taxpayer. They engage in a laundry list of financial documents that need to be provided to them in order to verify income, expenses, as well as assets, and any debt on assets. That's kind of the dragging the feet process. And eventually, as long as we persist in providing the documents and it shows what we're telling the IRS, we'll get the offer and compromise accepted.
What does it cost when someone comes to Roni Deutch's firm to do all of this stuff?
Our fees vary depending on the service, but one thing that we're proud of is that we offer a flat rate. And I think a lot of individuals that, when they think of retaining an attorney, they think of, wow, this is going to cost me a lot of money, and I don't know how much it will cost because the attorney will keep sending me bill after bill after bill. So we take the philosophy, it's a flat fee, just like if you were to hire a painter to paint your house. You want to know what that flat fee is. And the fees vary anywhere from maybe $2,000 to $5,000 depending on the service.
Some of the other cases that you brought with us were some pretty amazing cases where they owed many thousands. What, in your mind, do you remember a particular case where you had some amazing results, and what were the circumstances of that?
Well, I think a lot of the amazing results is kind of what you were touching upon at the beginning, and that is just getting the collection activity to stop. We have so many taxpayers that come to us, you know, just receiving a levy on their Social Security income or their disability income, and then getting also hit by a levy by the IRS on their bank account. This can basically wipe out the income that they have for that entire month. What we can do is we can step in and we can stop that from happening again in the future, and getting those taxpayers, you know, beyond the enforced collection activity, beyond that immediate economic hardship, and get them to concentrate on resolving the tax liabilities. So not only does it stop instantly, but it also stops going forward into the future.
How does your law firm, when you say we can step in and stop it, how do they actually do that?
What we do is after the client hires our law firm, we complete a power of attorney that we forward on to the Internal Revenue Service. Once the IRS receives that, we can then contact the IRS on behalf of the taxpayer, and we immediately ask that the IRS stop all enforced collection activity.
Why should they do that?
Well, because we need time to work with the taxpayer to gather all the financial information.
So they're willing to work with anybody as long as you step forward and start working with them, right?
Definitely, yeah. As long as you're making a honest, forthright step to try to resolve the tax liability, the IRS is going to stop that enforced collection activity.
A lot of people must breathe a sigh of relief after you guys step in, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, owing the IRS is probably one of the worst things that could happen to someone, because the IRS has such broad collection power. And just imagine if you woke up one morning and your bank account was levied.